San Andreas is the new action disaster movie about The Rock going up against two other really big rocks called tectonic plates that collide together and cause the biggest earthquake the world has ever seen. How will he save his family from this tragedy? Maybe he could drive them away really fast. Maybe he could fly them away with his beautiful wings. He could even simply punch the earthquake in the face so hard that he stops it. San Andreas is pretty much what you'd expect for a disaster movie. Aside from a certain car crash at the start of the film, all the visuals are really good, and the action is well balanced. The Rock's character is a helicopter pilot who saves people's lives, but he doesn't get to see his daughter as much as he'd like to, and his wife left him for Mr. Fantastic, which sucks. Once the earthquakes start, both his daughter and his ex-wife are trapped in different parts of California, so the Rock's ex-wife and the Rock team up to try and find and save their daughter. Now, while the action is good, the dialogue is pretty cheesy at times and very forced, especially at the parts where they try to give The Rock's character a backstory, but that whole thing ends up feeling very jarring and out of place. In addition, sometimes the script puts in really unnecessary moments of tension. You know, in case being trapped in the largest earthquake in recorded history wasn't tense enough. Another thing this movie suffers from is too much Reed Richards. Newly renamed Mr. Useless, the movie keeps cutting back to him during the action, despite the fact that he fulfilled his role as a character within the first act. He is also a massive jerk, which this movie will first let you decide for yourself, then show you, then tell you, then tell you, and then tell you again and again and again and again and again. Anyway, back to The Rock's daughter, who is probably the most interesting character in the movie. Yes, that's right, even more interesting than The Rock. She teams up with two British dudes who are also very likeable, and they finally answer the question that's been on many Game of Thrones fans' minds. So that's where Rickon went. In conclusion, while there are certainly flaws with this movie, quite a few in fact, it is still an enjoyable action disaster movie, and you will probably like it if you are indeed a big fan of The Rock. Spooks the Greater Good now. This is a spy action thriller based on the popular BBC TV show known as Spooks. The two main characters are Harry Pearce from the original show and Will Holloway, who is taking a break from his Night's Watch duties. The two of them must take down international criminal Adam Kasim with no idea who they can or can't trust. I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was really intense and gripping, with a plot that was very interesting and full of twists and turns. There were moments in there that were reminiscent of something that you would find in a James Bond movie. Kit Harington and Peter Firth both gave great performances, as did the rest of the cast, and the cinematography was particularly good. The highlight of the film is where Harry arranges a secret meet between himself and Jon Snow via a series of clues that are designed to outsmart MI5 with every turn. It's just a really great sequence that shows you how smart and prepared the character of Harry is. Also pretty great was Tomorrowland, the latest Brad Bird movie about a girl who finds a strange and wonderful pin that transports her to another land, Disneyland. Not really, it's called Tomorrowland and it's a place where anything is possible. So it is kind of like Disneyland. It's a very good family film with a pretty great cast, though the overall message about hope and not giving up can feel a little heavy-handed at times, and the villain of the movie is not particularly a villain for any reason other than he has to be. I wouldn't say it's as good as The Incredibles or Iron Giant or Ghost Protocol, but it is still worth going to see. It's a very well-made, fantastical adventure with cool robots and Jasper from 101 Dalmatians. Earlier this year, when I said The Flash was an incredibly fresh, engaging show, the standout show of 2014, I was only a few episodes in, so I had no idea how much I was underselling it. I have just recently finished the whole thing, and oh my god, The Flash is undoubtedly one of the best, if not the best show of last year. While it starts out a little villain of the weekish, it very quickly picks up the pace. Pun absolutely and 100% intended. Showing Barry Allen adjusting to his newfound super speed while going up against all kinds of fantastic superpowered villains, all the while plagued by the unanswered questions he has surrounding the night of his mother's death. Because you can't be a superhero without at least one dead parent. You know, that's the rule. The night of Barry's mother's death is the overarching story to the series, and it is so full of mind-blowing twists and really emotional turns, and it will leave you craving for more and more and more. The supporting cast of this show is excellent. I can't talk enough about how good the acting is. And also, the character of Eddie Thorne could really easily have been played or written as a jerk, but instead he was a genuinely nice guy, and he ended up being one of my favourite characters. Crossover episodes with the Arrow were always pleasing, and if I can only say one more thing to convince you to watch this show, there is an episode where they go up against a super strong, super intelligent, telepathic gorilla. Now that is entertainment at its finest. So thank you for watching this episode of Big Screen Small Talk. As always, there's links to everything I've been talking about in the description below. And if you liked it, like it. If you want to see more, subscribe. And if you've got an opinion on my opinions or just things I've been talking about, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching. There's one word I can use to describe the new Mad Max film. I'll give you a clue. It begins with M.